Hi, I'm Gareth Spence and welcome to Tech Talk. Europe's fiber market is changing fast. Rollouts are reaching maturity, rural coverage is accelerating, and operators are now starting to shift their focus from building networks to getting people to use them. To unpack all this, I'm joined by Adtran's Ryan McCowan. Ryan, how would you characterize the current FTTH landscape across Europe?
So I think across the EU39, we are starting to move from the phase where it's focused entirely on building to focusing on connecting. Now, there's great build progress in the last year. We're up about 23 million homes passed in the last year. We're at about 160 million fiber subscribers. So the build is going very well, but now we're starting to transition into a phase where it's just as much about connecting customers to the network as it is broadening the scope of the network.
What are the biggest trends shaping Europe's fiber market right now?
So as I mentioned a moment ago, the rollout is reaching a maturity phase. You're getting to the point where a lot of the low-hanging fruit has been already passed, and the version of the 80-20 rule that applies here is the last 20% takes about the same amount of time as the first 80% and costs almost the same. You're getting to those harder to reach areas, the more sparse areas that maybe need a little help with the business case. That's one of the factors. Another factor is adoption lag. So lots of operators across Europe have built these networks, and it's been not as great progress in connecting people to the network as it has been building the network. So that really makes the shift from building the network into connecting people to the network and making sure that the experience is the best, the service quality is the best, and properly marketing this great asset and then monetizing it.
How does Europe compare globally in regards to FTTH penetration?
Overall, the continent lags some of the leaders, but there are bright spots. Several European countries are in the global top 10. Many of the ones in the global top are, smaller countries, more highly urbanized, so you would expect their penetration numbers to be higher and their build-out numbers to be higher. But there are lots of countries in Europe that are doing really well on the global scale.
Looking specifically at rural areas, what progress has Europe made?
If you look at the last 10 years, tremendous progress has been made. 10 years ago, rural coverage for FTTH was at 5%, now it's at 65%. Again, that varies widely across Europe. Some of the more mature countries that have 90+% penetration everywhere else also have 90+% in the rural areas. Others are lagging behind, but overall, there's lots of progress being made.
What's driving this progress? What policy tools are working?
So a lot of it is either country level or EU level funding. These rural areas are of course more difficult to reach. They cost more per subscriber to pass, and there are fewer subscribers, so the business case can get a bit constrained. But a combination of country-level subsidies, EU-level subsidies, and just a real societal focus on bridging that digital divide are making a big difference.
As Europe moves from rollout to optimization, what does this mean for operators?
So operators have to focus on getting subscribers onto the network and managing their experience once they're on that network and moving from building to operating. So this means using artificial intelligence to manage the network, to optimize the subscriber experience, to make sure the Wi-Fi in the home is the best that it can be and that their operations are as efficient as possible. This meshes really well with the AI tools that we have, bringing to bear those kind of capabilities, and once you get the subscriber onto the network, making sure that their experience is great and that you as an operator have a good operational experience, and that's as streamlined as it can be.
Looking ahead, what do you see as Europe's biggest opportunities?
So Europe's opportunity right now is completing this fiber transition. So getting subscribers onto the fiber network, finishing building the fiber network. So that means covering the rest of the rural areas that haven't been covered, finishing up that final 20% that I mentioned earlier, and then getting people onto the network, maximizing their experience when they're on the network, and streamlining the operational side of operating the network rather than building the network. So that's a whole different set of processes. It's a different set of tools, but migrating to mature operation rather than build as quickly as you can.
Ryan, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.